Okay, hi everyone and welcome to Odoo Live. My name is Chetali and we'll be presenting the webinar today with my colleague Patrick.
Yeah, sure.
So Patrick, we're going to be discussing about Odoo Accounting Simplified. Can you tell us a little bit about what's in store for us for the webinar today?
Absolutely. So today we have a good plan for you. We are going to talk about finance and how you can make it easy using Odoo applications to run the finance of your company.
Cool. Okay.
Sure.
And I think with the current coronavirus situation going on in Europe, it could be great to know how we could use it to work remotely as well. How
Absolutely.
we can use Odoo Accounting to work remotely.
That's exact.
So let's get started.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Chetali. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning for those who join us from another time zone. My name is Patrick Lukusa, and I'm a business advisor at Odoo. Today, we prepared a webinar about accounting, and this is our planning. We are going to talk about what is Odoo, the company, and really quickly, we'll discuss why you should use Odoo Accounting. We'll go quickly into a demonstration so that you see firsthand by yourself how it works, all of this. And after that session, you can ask any question you want. We'll be free to answer as much questions as possible. Okay? And then I will show you what are the next steps. If you want to get your hands on Odoo, we'll give you some guidance. Well, about Odoo. Odoo is a multinational company. We are based in Grand Rosières in a small city in Belgium, from where we are having this studio conversation. We have 2 offices in Belgium so far, but we are also in the United States, in Asia, and we are in the process of opening 2 other offices. Stay tuned, you know where it is. For today, we are around 850 employees with more than 2,500 partners. These are let's say, IT companies that help us in implementing Odoo into companies of the end users. We cover more than 176 countries worldwide, and we are proud to say we are having more than 4 million happy Odoo users globally. Okay. So what is Odoo? Odoo is a suite of business applications that you can use to run one part of your business. It can be the sales, it can be the purchases, it can be the accounting, as we are going to see it today. So I like saying that we have almost one application per business need. I'll have the chance to show you this. It is also a user-friendly application. It is as easy as you have on your smartphone. It is intuitive. You will see it by yourself. You can use it in the cloud. It simply means that you go on our website, odoo.com, you can create an account, and instantly you can access it. For those who want, you can also download it, install it on your computer, install it on your server to start running your business with Odoo. As more and more people will be on the go while working, you can also download it on your smartphone, on your tab. It can be an Android device, it can be an iOS, but you can install it for free, no extra charge for that. Odoo is also open source and gives you tools to customize what you want to use of it. So if you come to a situation where there is a gap between what you are looking for and what you want to do, you can also easily extend it or customize it to your own needs. Well, most of you know some of the companies here. This is what we call the landscape of ERP or business applications. To the left, you can see that you have major players with a broad coverage of functionalities. And on the right here, you can see people who really focus on a specific business area. With Odoo, we want to cover at the same time as many business requirements, but we want to keep IT simple. It doesn't need to be more complex than that. Okay? So you'll see that we have different applications here. All of them work together. They integrate seamlessly and natively. Our focus today will be about the finance application, so accounting, invoicing, and how you can manage your expenses. Traditional ERPs are usually centered about accounting, so accounting will be the main focus. They do manufacturing, inventory, but all of this will boil down to accounting. But modern companies usually want to do more than just accounting. Obviously, accounting is a central part, but they want to do the marketing so that they can generate more business, more interest. When they have interest, they want to send quotations, convert new customers. When they have successfully sold, they want to be able to do the after-sales services. So Odoo will help you to do all of this in a single application, like a one-stop shop. Why use Odoo Accounting? Generally, businesses will need to invoice whatever they are selling. they will also need to encode the expenses of the purchases, salary payments, and so on. So Odoo will allow you to manage your invoices and cash collection. It will allow you to automate all of this because by using different applications, you will simply be able to generate invoices from other applications in a few clicks. It also gives you a real-time visibility on your company financial performance. So you can pull out, for example, the P&L reports, the balance sheet reports, all from your Odoo system. You don't need to wait up until you meet your chartered accountant to see how your company is performing. Okay? You will also be able to comply with the legal requirements in your country. Let's say if you're in Belgium, if you are in the United States, if you're in India, for example, you'll be able to print out your revenue reports, your VAT report, and you can present it to your authorities. Okay. Some of you, if you are using the full Odoo accounting features, you will even be able to discuss or to inform your stakeholders, to inform your loan bankers so that you can secure a loan simply by printing in real time your balance sheet and presenting it to people you want to talk with. Well, it's now time for the demonstration. So I will switch to an account I prepared just for you, which is here. It is on our Odoo SaaS. It is called accountingintro.odoo.com. So in this account, I have installed a couple of applications. You will see that typically one small icon here is an Odoo application. Okay, you have some free applications, and you have some applications which are paid for, like the accounting application, purchase, employees, expenses. Virtually, we have more than 600 official Odoo applications. This is the App Store, the official Odoo App Store, where you can simply look up for one application that you want, and in a few clicks, you can install it. To start with, it is good to configure your account. Here, I just provided the company information. I created 2 companies in the single account because you can also do that. For the current account, it is based in Belgium. This is my company, contact details, my logo. You can also invite some users so that you can connect to Odoo, but you can invite also your colleagues to work with you collaboratively. So I have one of my colleagues here, Rudy, who is having limited access rights, for example, just to do the billing. And I will show you, for example, how his interface will look like. For example, I go to his account. Since he only has a couple access to a couple of applications, he can only see accounting, in which he will do just invoicing, payments collection, and so on. So this is something you can do. You can invite people to connect to your accounts, but you can limit or extend the access rights so that they can do more or less of the activities daily. Back to my account as an administrator, I have the sales application. I can send a quotation, confirm it into an order, and at some point in time, I will be able to generate an invoice to my customer. Same thing if I purchase some goods. For example, I purchase a car, a company car, or I purchase a laptop. I will eventually receive a vendor bill, which I will encode in my system automatically. For the accounting application, this will be our focus today. If I navigate to the welcome dashboard of the accounting, I will typically see that I have a menu on the top, sometimes a sub-menu. I have access to the reporting. I will show you this. But on the home page, what I see is typically that I can look at my customer invoices. I see that I have 2 unpaid invoices here. I can do the same for vendor bills. I have 1 bill to pay, one which is in draft state, so I still need to validate it. And I can see many other things. For now, it's not important to notice this. Okay? If we want to invoice a customer manually, what I can do is to simply click on New Invoice. I will be able to say who is the customer for this, for example, one customer here. And then I'll say what I want to invoice to this customer. I can work with predefined products so that Odoo knows already what will be the price, what will be the tax, and eventually, let's say, a description. And I can add more lines as we go. Let's say we add a second one here. I save it. Well, this is our first invoice in my system here. So what I can do is to print, to send it by email or to print and send it by postal service. So for example, if you want to have a look at it, it will look like this. So this is a typical default Odoo invoicing invoice. You will see the company letterhead, the footer, and the content of the invoice. You have many templates from which you can choose from, but for now we can stick with this one, a default one. Okay. Once you send an invoice, you'll simply be waiting for the payments to be collected. So I will be working on some other tasks. I will see that I have 3 unpaid invoices. And when I have a proof of payment, one of the things that I can do will be to come back here, look up the invoice which has been paid, for example, the last one, and I can, for example, say this has been paid. If I do that, I will also need to notify if it has been paid by Bank 1, Bank 2, in cash, or by check, okay? This is only one of the ways to do. I can do also payment in multi-currency because this is possible, and I can have many scenarios here. For example, I pay half of it, for example, only part of it. So the balance, I will need to say what I do with it. I will say for now on, I will pay and keep open the balance so that I can claim that later from my customer. As soon as we mark the payment as done, we see that we keep track of what has been paid and when, and we can go on and do something else. When we have the payment of the balance, I can come back again here and say, this time, I received the payment, let's say, in cash, and the balance was 1,000, I validate and pay. Now, since the invoice has been fully paid, it is flagged, the amount due is 0, and this invoice is totally closed and I can move on to something else, okay? Back on the overview, you see that a minute ago we had 3 unpaid invoices, and now we only have 2, okay? Same thing happens for the vendor bills. I can create one manually if I click here, but this will be similar to the customer invoices. Most of the time you receive hundreds or tens of vendor bills. You don't want to do them manually, okay? So one thing you can do is to ask the vendors or the suppliers to send the bills to your email address. That way Odoo will create it for you automatically. If you don't want to do that, you can as well simply get the PDF copies of your invoices. For example, I will go and take one here. You can upload it into Odoo. I will take this example. And Odoo should automatically recognize that this is an invoice, and it will read the contents of the PDF file that you've just imported. So this is the vendor bill that I received. I can upload it into Odoo, and I can ask Odoo to digitalize it. It means it will recognize the content of the invoice and populate all of these fields. I don't need to do it manually, it's all automated. So this can save you time if you have tens or hundreds of invoices per month, okay? So Odoo uses what we call OCR, optical recognition. So I will update and try to see what it gets. As you can see, we have just detected that the company sending me this bill is Azure Interior. These are the billing dates, due date, whatever. And these are the contents of the invoice. If I want to compare with what was on the PDF, I'll just look it up here. And you will see that the bottom line is the same. The customer, sorry, the supplier in this case is this one. The due dates, invoicing date are totally automated, okay? Same thing, it is a vendor bill, it is in draft, it is recognized. I can now go ahead, post it. When it is time to release the payment, I will ask to initiate the payment. I will simply mark it as paid, and that's it, okay? So far what we have seen is how you can encode customer invoices, how you can pay them, how you can record vendor bills manually or automatically and pay them also. But accounting is more than just this. In accounting, you need to do all of the bookkeeping operations. For example, miscellaneous operations. If you want to record, for example, salaries, you can simply create a journal entry manually. You can enter 2 lines, one with the account that will debit and another one with the counterpart, let's say the bank accounts, okay? On top of that, in accounting, what you'll be able to do will be to read the reports, okay? So for now, I will show you where we stand in the demonstration. We have seen a global overview here. We have seen the invoicing. For the account receivable and payables, I will show you how you can track or follow up the accounts opened for your customers as well as your suppliers. You can send out payment reminders. For example, if you have a customer who hasn't paid and it's been 2 months, you can automate all of that. And we'll see everything about the reporting now. Back to our demonstration account. I will, for example, pull out the customer follow-up report. Here, I will show you, for example, for my customers, I have Gemini Furniture. This is a customer of ours. What we can see for the follow-up, we can see that they have an invoice, which is invoice number 1, which is already due. That's why it is in red here. And they were to pay 7,000 euros on the 3rd of March, and they haven't done so. So what you can do is to send a payment reminder. For example, you can print it in PDF. I'll just choose one template. It will look like this, so you can fold it, send it by postal services. This can be automatically translated into the language of the recipients. Let's say I'm an English speaker, but I want to send this reminder to a French speaker. Odoo will translate it for you, and it will show the list of all open and overdue invoices that I want to send for reminder. Obviously, I can do it manually, but I can as well automate this. If you want to see the automation, how you can do it, you can go to follow-up levels. You can define all of the different follow-up levels and when they should be triggered. For example, 15 days after the due date of an invoice, I will send a first reminder. Then 30 days after, if the invoice is still not yet paid, then I will send a second urgent reminder, and so on and so on. You can fully customize this. Another way to see the account receivables and the account payables is to go in the reporting section. Here I can go and see the agent receivable, so that I can see for all of my customers what is their open accounts and when was it due. I can see everything that is not yet due, everything that was due the last month, the 2 previous months, and so on up until the end. If I want to see the figures behind this, it's really simple. I will unfold. I can click on the invoice and see the details behind it. For example, I want to view the invoice itself. I click here. I drill down, and this is how it looks like. I can go back again. I can see, let's say, I can change the expected payment date because this customer is obviously late of payment. So I can say, I called him, he promised to pay next week. So I can change the new due date to next week. Okay. The same thing applies for, let's say, suppliers. I can see the position of all of my open accounts towards my suppliers. Okay. Now, in the reporting, you have more than just partner reports. You have all of the basic general books, for example, the profit and loss, the balance sheets. You have the executive summaries, which gives you accounting ratios. You have a cash flow statements. Most importantly, you have a tax report. This is really important. The tax reports will be based on your country requirements. For example, here I have a chart of accounts for Belgium, and it gives me the VAT reports as the Belgian authorities ask it. You can see the format and the structure is really as per the Belgian, let's say, regulation. As soon as you start encoding your accounting entries, Odoo will populate all of these sections for you. Let's say I will see this for this financial year. And you can see for this financial year, I have a couple of transactions here for tax 21% at sales, the same when I purchase, and I know what I need to pay to the authorities. Obviously, if you have a full accounting localization, what you can do is you can export this in PDF, in Excel, but you can also export a structured data format, data file, so that you can give it to the authorities for tax declaration. This is to see with your chartered accountants. Okay? If you are in another country, let's say the United States, India, France, or whatever, you will have a typically different tax reports. In case you don't have a full tax report, you can as well customize it. We can help you to build it from scratch for your needs. So for the reporting, other two important reports will be the balance sheet and the profit and loss. The balance sheet will give you a snapshot of your company financial situation. The balance sheet will give you the idea of your net profit to date. So let's go back again here. All of these are real-time reports. So I'll go to the profit and loss. I will see that I have made some sales for this amount, or let me mostly do this. So I have sold for nearly 9,000 euros I have encoded some expenses for 16,000, and I should be able to see if I'm doing it's in French, a profit or a loss. For now, I have expensed more than incomes, so I'm at loss for now. So if you keep in mind these amounts, you can see the same amount in real time into your profit and loss. Okay. If I go, sorry, in your balance sheet, if I go in the balance sheet, I will see my assets. I can see my bank accounts, but I will also see the same amount here with the loss that my company is making so far. Okay. Now, you have many other reports here, and you can add extra reports. One that is particularly interesting is the invoice analysis. This, for example, can be used to do a cash flow forecast. You can do, for example, things like grouping by type of invoice, so that you see vendor bills, customer bills. You can then display this by due date, so that you know when they are due, and you'll see the nets. For example, in March, I will be in positive, but in April, I will be in negative. So I know that I have an issue with the cash flow. Accountants will really love this, or financial managers. If you're happy with your reports in Odoo, in one click, you can export this to Excel so that you can use it for further processing. Okay? And it looks like this. Well, so far, we have seen the reporting. We have many options here, and depending on your country, you will have more or less options. We have seen the account payable, the invoicing, the payment follow-ups, and a general overview. But Odoo allows you to do more than just general accounting. You can do what we call managerial accounting or analytical accounting. You can do asset management. Let's say if you are managing assets which are really expensive, like company buildings, company cars, and which you want to depreciate, you can ask Odoo to do it for you, to automate it for you from within the same tool. Most companies will work with budgets. So when you start a fiscal period, you want to plan what will be the income that you expect, what will be the expenses that you expect per quarter or for the whole year, and you can automate that into Odoo. I'll show you. Odoo is meant also to be used in international environments, so you will be able to manage many currencies from within the same system. So let's go back to the settings of our Odoo account. In the configuration, I can go to the settings area, and here I see plenty of options that I can activate. One is to be able to manage multiple currencies. If it is checked, I will be also able to say how I want to update the currency conversion rate. I can select which tool will allow me to do that. For example, the European Central Bank, Bank of Switzerland, and so on. And I can decide to say what will be the frequency of the updates. I can do it manually if I want, but I can schedule it daily, weekly, or monthly. But as soon as I choose anything, I can run it for the first time, and Odoo should allow to update my currency rates. Okay? We'll come back to the rest of the configuration. So if I go back to the currencies, I will see the list of all possible currencies that exist. I can even create some, for example, a new cryptocurrency. For now on, I only activated 3 of them: euros, let's say Indian rupees, and USD dollars. My base currency is euro, so I convert the other ones relatively to euros. Okay. Back again in the settings, what can we see there? We have other options, for example, for analytic accounting. If you want to, let's say, assess what is your profitability for the whole company, or for one business line, or for one product, you can activate the analytic accounting, so that you will see what are all of your expenses, minus, all of your income, minus the expenses, and what is the net profit you are making on one business line, one product, one department, or the whole company. You can do also budget management, so you'll define your budget over a period of time, and Odoo will be tracking the realization. Are you consuming more or less than what you forecasted? And we'll see that. So back to budget management. what I will show you is simply we will go, something really interesting is you can come back on the welcome page of Odoo and you simply type the first words of what you are looking for, budget, and you have a shortcut. And here I can see I have created two budgets for the same period of time, or more or less, here it is 2020. One which is optimistic, in the event that everything is okay, the coronavirus is soon finished, let's say we are optimistic. And another one which is pessimistic, maybe for the same period of time. So if I take this one, for example, I can define all the budgetary positions. The budgetary position is simply to say, I expect, for example, to expense something from the 1st of January this year up to end of March. And I expect to do, let's say, more than 270,000 euros of expenses, salary, investments, buildings, repairs, whatever. I can add another budget line, which is for the income. So here, since it is an expense, I will see three metrics that Odoo will be tracking. What I plan to consume over this period of time, what theoretically by this date in March should have been consumed, it's almost the full amount here. And as soon as I encode the vendor bill or any transaction, Odoo will track what has been actually realized. So since it is an expense, it is in negative. Now we'll simply encode a vendor bill so that we'll see that this amount should increase in real time. So let's go to the overview. We can create a new bill manually. I'll select a vendor. I'll take a product, just search one here. Looking for one that will be correctly configured. Building. Okay, so I am buying a building. Let's say like this. Hope this is the one I prepared. Okay. And it will be worth, let's say, 50,000. And I save it here. Okay. I also create another one, random one. So if I refresh here, I should see that my practical amount, which is what I actually expensed, goes up. And an interesting thing is that you now see that this line is in red because I only planned to expense this, but I went far away, far more than what I expensed here. It's a, let's say, a chaotic situation. The other way around, if it is an income and I go beyond the collection of what I planned, it will be in green because it is positive. It means that you are more efficient than what you forecasted, okay? So this is budgeting. Obviously, a budget can get quite messy than this. You can have it per week, per department, per, let's say, scenario, optimistic or pessimistic. So it can be as complex as you want it to be, okay? In terms of analytic accounts, same thing. I will show you, for example, what an analytic account looks like. Here we have many analytic accounts. I will take this one for DecoAdit, where you can see the cost and revenue for everything that you put in this analytic account. You will see all of the income. Here I have only one, minus all of the expenses, and you will see the total amount here. What is an analytic account? It is simply, let's say, a file in which we'll put statistics of everything that you want to track for managerial purposes. It's not required by fiscal authorities. It's simply for your internal performance management. Let's go and create quickly a customer invoice. For example, for this one, we will sell worth 2,000. I can link every line of my invoice to a separate analytic account. For example, I put it into DecoAdit and post it. This is a normal Odoo invoice, but accountants are mostly familiar with this view where you see the accounts that will be impacted. what is being debited or credited, and if applicable, what is the tax and where it will go into the tax report. As soon as I validate this, I can go on the analytic, again, analytic accounts. I will look for the one Deco Addict. Now you see that the figure have changed, and I can see that I have a new line with what I've just encoded here. Okay. So far so good. We have seen how you can manage budgets, analytic accounts. You can also manage assets. For the assets, you will be able to track the depreciation board of your transactions. So I'll go here, or I'll just go to my assets like this. I'll see that I have a building, which is here. The initial value, I purchased it for 1,000 euros, and I need to depreciate it over 5 years, linear depreciation. I have already computed the depreciation boards, and Odoo gives me 5 entries. What it means is every year, Odoo will depreciate 1/5 of the total value of this building, and it will post it for me. I don't need to do it manually. I can obviously define if I want it to be posted automatically, or if I want to have a look first, change it if needed, and then validate it. All of these are configuration. So how do you configure it? Just to show you really quick, I can go to, let's say, the deferred revenues here. Sorry, these are the assets. Okay, I created one in the wrong place, but it will be just enough to show you. I can define what are the period of depreciation, 12 months, what are the accounts that will be impacted, and I can save this, and from now on, what I will be doing is I can create an invoice, say this is a building. I think we had already one, previous one. Obviously, it's a vendor bill, so it's a purchase. Where is it? I don't find it anymore. Okay, there it is. So I bought one here, or another one. This is not the right price. So as soon as you validate the building, Odoo will allow you to link your expense to, where are you? To the depreciation board. Okay, I think I mixed up my invoices. Okay, no worries. Where are you here? Well, there it is. So I have a building here. So I validate a vendor bill. I have a link with the assets. I can see the depreciation board. This is really for accountants. And I can see the split of all accounting entries, which will be validated year after year. Okay. You have other things that you can do in accounting. You can activate other options. One that will particularly be interesting is to see the import of bank statements. I showed you that you can mark invoices as paid manually by simply going on the invoice and saying I mark it as paid. But what companies typically do is they have a bank account from which they can export the bank statements. They can export them in CSV formats, other formats. In Belgium, you have the CODA format, or they can also do an automatic import. What it means is you can plug Odoo to your bank account so that your bank statements are downloaded for you automatically. For example, here, if I go to my dashboard, I take the BNP Fortis, I can say import my bank statements. In Belgium, we have the CODA file, and I have a couple of them here for the example. I have 2 of them, and they look like this. This is a text editor. Don't worry, as it is black and white like this. So we'll try to import one of these CODA files to show you how it will look like. So wherever you can download the CODA files, CSV files from your bank accounts, you can come on your Odoo dashboard, click on Imports, look up for the files on your computer. You can select them and try to import them. If everything is okay, it will tell you now these are the lines that I have imported. If you have an issue, which will almost not happen, you'll be prompted with an error. Here we have many lines. You can have hundreds of them, thousands of them, but whatever you do, you'll be able to now do the reconciliation between your existing invoices and the payment transactions that reflect on your bank account. Okay. Instead of doing this, which is already semi-automated, you may want to fully automate this. Instead of downloading the bank statements from my bank accounts and then importing them here, what you can do is to ask Odoo to connect to your bank account. You'll say, I want to do bank synchronization. If your bank allows for it, what you will do is you save this back to the home page. You can synchronize Odoo with your bank. You'll be able to select your bank if it shows up here. For example, these are only banks applicable in Belgium, and I see BNP Paribas is here. Or I can go to worldwide. I will check, for example, for Chase in the US. It is there, or for HDFC in India, for example, and you can see many options here. Once you do the synchronization, you'll provide a login, a password, so that automatically, once a day, for example, Odoo will connect to your bank account, download the bank statements, and all you will have left to do is to come and do the reconciliation, the payment matching. With this, accountants will really save time. All they will need to focus on is to see the accuracy of the transactions that they are encoding, whether or not it is good. Well, we are moving ahead. So on top of that, you have some extras that Odoo allows you to do. One thing that is particularly interesting is that Odoo allows you to manage more than one company in the same account. I showed you initially that in the settings, I created a second company. I have one in Belgium, accountants.sa, and a second one, let's say, in the United States. So as soon as I do this, I will also be able to say who in my company has access to which entity, if I can say like that. For example, I can work for both companies, but right now I'm connected on the one in Belgium. If I want to switch and start working for the new company we've just set up in the US, I can click here and say, now you need to go into the US company. It is a new account, so I don't have the accounting localization. You see that the dashboard is completely free. So what I will do is to go to the configuration, look for a chart of accounts. The first one for Belgium is already here, but I will go to all of the chart of accounts. You will see all of the chart of accounts for all countries that we have in Odoo so far. And you can pick the one that you want, United States, and I will install it. From now on, I will be able to use all of the accounting, let's say, parameters for the US, the bank accounts, the taxes, the tax reports, and so on. It is loading all of this, and as soon as it is done, we are ready to simply show you how it looks like. In the meantime, I think we are already having a couple of questions.
Yes. So I'm just trying to consolidate all the questions.
Yep.
I try to answer some live as I could, but certainly I need your expertise.
Absolutely.
For most of them, I would say.
What we'll do as usually, we will put them together and ask them at the end.
Perfect.
Sure.
Okay. So you guys, you have maybe, let's say we're coming to the end of Patrick's presentation.
Yes.
We have, let's say, what, couple more points to present?
No, 2-3 minutes now.
2-3 minutes. Yeah. So you have a couple of minutes to write down your questions in the live chat, and if I can answer them, I will. If not, I will put them on the pad that Patrick can answer them at the end.
Absolutely.
Okay? Right. Okay.
Now, you don't have a limit into the number of companies that you can create into one account. If you have 10 new companies, you can add them. There is no limit to the number of companies. Now that we have installed the chart of accounts for the US, if I go back to the accounting, I will see that suddenly I now have a dashboard which is active. I can look at the reports of my company in a consolidated way. For example, I can go to profit and loss here. You can see here, I want to display everything at once. So you'll be seeing all of the companies being aggregated here. Like this. If you want to consolidate also your accounting, we have an application that allows you to go really far. For example, it can allow you to consolidate companies which are having different accounting standards. For example, a US GAAP with Belgium GAAP or IFRS. So it is called consolidation. Obviously, this is advanced, and it allows you to really map some types of accounts in one company to other types of accounts in another company and aggregate all of this. Well, just checking if we have another last line. We have seen the currencies. Odoo is multi-language. It means that I can be looking at my interface in my own preferred language, but I can also send my business documents to my recipients in their own language. Consolidation is done, so I think we come to the end and we'll be starting to take some questions. It's all up to you now.
All right. All right. I think we have a few questions here.
Yeah, sure.
We can start with the list. Okay. Okay, so the first question is by Davey, who wants to know if we can upload UBL format invoices onto Odoo.
Yeah. UBL, I understand UBL is for electronic invoices. We have a couple of applications for Factorix electronic invoices. I'm not sure if this is full in your case. What I can always do is to check precisely what you are looking for and maybe revert to you. But I know that for UBL, it's not fully, let's say, all e-invoices that you can upload for now.
But I did see that we do have a couple of our resellers on our app store. So we have an app store with over 3,000 apps. And they do have some of them that do proposal services. So you can just go to, I'll send you the link for the App Store, and perhaps you can see the one that corresponds to the version that you have, and you will be able to use that as a plugin as
That's a great point. So whenever we don't have an application for a specific part in the standard Odoo version, since it is open source and we have a lot of partners, you can look up in our App Store with more than 20,000 applications to look up if you have that specific plugin to simply fill the gap of what you are looking for.
Yeah. So I'm just adding the link to the App Store with the UBL invoice, and you can see which one corresponds to your need.
Sure.
Okay, then we have another question from Ari Galt, who wants to know if the tax report is available for Guatemala.
For Guatemala, I'm not sure. Let's check. And you will actually see how you can look for a chart of accounts. What I will do is, how do you spell it? Guatemala. Absolutely. Apparently we have one. Now it's up to you to create a test account, install the chart of account for Guatemala. I should not do this, but I clicked on it and see what are the content of what you get in it. If it is fully compliant for your company's specific needs, or if it is half complete and you should also fine tune it to your own specifications.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Then we have a question from Leonce, who wants to know if we can create an invoice with deposits.
An invoice with deposits. I'm not sure I get the question, but maybe to put it in a general way, sometimes you want to sell your services, and then you charge half of the total amount, so that when you finish what you need to deliver or to do as services, then you can charge the balance. So normally, this happens if you have a full flow of a sales order. You see we have other applications. You can create a sales order. You invoice only your deposits. I will show you quickly. I'm not sure if we can have the screen on my computer.
Yes, we do.
Sure, perfect. We have here, let's say, a first sales order. I'll take another one. I can create an invoice with a deposit, which can be in percentage, for example, 30% of the total invoice, or in nominal amounts, let's say 50 euros. So yes, that way, if you do create, let's say, a deposit of 50, sorry, my keyboard, you'll have the invoice for only the 50% deposit that you want to collect. We also call it down payments, and that's it. When you also need to invoice the balance, then we'll come back again on the initial sales order, create the invoice for the balance, and you have it all. Now, if you want to start only from the invoicing, it's as we showed you here, you can just create a standalone invoice for the exact amount of the deposit that you want to charge. I hope this answers your question.
If it answers the question, Leonce, you...
Otherwise, feel free to comment. It's just below the video link.
Also, that also helps with more information. Okay, we have a question from Ivan who wants to know if you could mention analytic tags, just to explain what analytic tags are about briefly.
Absolutely. Yes. When you are doing analytic accounting, most of the time you have, let's say, an expense which you want to post in more than one account at the same time. For example, I have a marketing expense, so I want to mark it as for the marketing department. At the same time, I want to mark the same part or full of it as an expense for the new product line that we've just developed and we are marketing. So what I can do is first activate the use of analytic tags so that I can do what we call the distribution of the transaction. So it's an option here. I save and activate it. Then from now on, if I have invoices or sales, let's say purchase orders or sales orders, I will be able to mention in every line of my invoice, vendor bill, purchase orders, whatever, I will be able to mention here the analytic tag. So an analytic tag, I can have more than one tag here. So how it looks like, analytic tags, just to show you. Looks like this. You can say do an analytic distribution and say I will post half of it into the marketing department, 50% of it, and 50% in another one. I can even do 50% in administrative, but 100% in another one. I hope this answers your question.
Okay. Now that we covered that, we have a question from Murad who wants to know if he can use it in Tunisia as an accounting firm for his clients. And if yes, is it possible to design automated tax reports for Tunisian administration? Do we have a localization for Tunisia as well?
Sure. What I know is that in Tunisia we have some legal requirements as per what should go on the invoice. I think advanced requirements from the Tunisian authorities. First thing I will need to check is to see what you have here. I see we don't have a full localization, so you can start from the configurable chart of accounts, and we'll add all of the accounts that are missing, the taxes that are missing, as well as the reports. If you want, you can work with one of our local partners. We have a lot of them there. They will help you to create a chart of account for you. But most of them already have the chart of accounts already, so they can simply install it for you. This is to check with our local partners. If you don't know where to knock, then you can go on our website on odoo.com, like this. Oh, sorry, I'll get there. On our website, you can go on odoo.com, and then you can either go to the App Store and look it up, or you can go to the list of partners. This is in the bottom, in the footer. You can search for find a partner, and then you see the list of partners in Tunisia. You can contact all of them or some of them to get advice on the chart of accounts. Where are we? Tunisia, we have 6 of them.
Okay.
Good.
All right. We also have a question about the accounting scheme for Madagascar. So Caleb says that it's similar, 99% similar to France. When will it be added to Odoo Online?
Sure. When it will be added, I truly don't have this information when we can add it. But what I know for now, you can start from the French chart of accounts because it is mostly the same for Madagascar, for all other islands which have a relationship with France. And then you can simply fine-tune 5 to 10% of the tax rates, chart of accounts that you want to use. It can be a good starting point. If we will have a chart of accounts specifically for Madagascar in the near time, I'm not aware, but we can always double check in the near future. We have release notes. Whenever it is available, we will communicate it.
Yes, so the latest release notes should be uploaded pretty soon in the next few weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So yeah, you can check it if it's there. If not, it will be added soon in the near future. I do think we have a couple of questions related to specific use cases. As I did comment that, unfortunately, since we don't have all the information about your database, it's quite hard for us to reply to them here. So if you have a specific use question about your database, you can send it to our support team at odoo.com/help.
Absolutely. On that one note, if you have a specific use case and you want to see if it is feasible and if you want to try it and validate if you want to use Odoo, do not hesitate to contact us. Get in touch with a business advisor. We'll be glad to analyze your project and then advise accordingly. You can book a meeting. It's free on this link here. So you will be in touch with one of our business advisors in the Belgian office.
Let me add the link because that way you can access it directly as well.
Okay.
I will add that later.
We'll add it on the YouTube
At the
channel.
end. Okay, coming back to the questions. I had popped out the window. Here we go. We also have a question by Roland, who wants to know how can we send many weather bills to the OCR in one action? So
Yep.
to send multiple by batch.
Absolutely. So since you can get, let's say, an entire PDF with 10 invoices at once in the OCR, let's say in a PDF, for example, you can upload the whole PDF and then you can split every page so that you create many different invoices instead of a single one. I will not be able to show you here, but again, you can install simply, for example, the documents management application. It allows you to see the features to split a single PDF into as many invoices as you want. That's simple to test. You can simply go on demo.odoo.com. You make sure that you have the documents application, and in there you should be able to test the splitting of a document.
Okay, then let me get back to the questions.
Yeah, sure.
Do we have a chart of accounts for Saudi Arabia?
I believe yes. Just for everyone who is having a question about which chart of account we have or not, a simple advice: if you create your own account on odoo.com, when you are in the account, you can go to the App Store, like here, and you can simply type, you can remove all of the filters, and you can simply type the first letters of the name of the country for which you are searching for the chart of accounts. Here I have Saudi Arabia. It can be the same for Madagascar. We just did the same with Guatemala and so on. So that's the easiest way to find it.
And also you just said we're going to release new chart of accounts for a couple of countries?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are progressively releasing new chart of accounts. I think the last one we released was, if I'm not mistaken, the Swedish one. We are in the process of creating new ones for northern countries. So it's a progressive work.
Great, thank you. Can you download the video? Unfortunately, you cannot because it's on our channel, but it's free to use, free to watch anytime you want on the same URL that you use to access the live stream. Okay, we have a question from Shade of Vengeance. Cool name. If I have 10 companies, can I share the chart of accounts for all those 10 companies?
It's a good question. When you are in multi-company, actually every company is considered as a separate legal entity. It means you can have the same chart of accounts structure, but you have separate books. If I encode a vendor bill in company 1, it should not reflect in company 2 because you want to keep this separate. In case you want to have the same chart of accounts, most probably you are in the case of not multi-company, but how can I say, offices in the same company, in which case we don't recommend you use the multi-company feature, but you can simply work with different configurations of journals, accounts, so that you separate accounts within the same chart of account that you are sharing. I'm not sure if this is clear.
Okay, I'm just trying to get some more questions that I could answer at the bottom. We have Mohammed before that we have Amin who wants to know if how can we manage delayed checks in Odoo if a check is supplied late by a client or
I'm
a
not sure this
customer.
particular case, but when you work with checks, it's like when you work with credit cards. You will always have a 2 or 3 steps process. You have the check remittance when someone gives you the check, but you also have the cash collection when you actually give it back to the bank and then you actually collect the cash. All of this can be handled with the reconciliation mechanism on the bank journal, like here. So when I have a check, for example, if it is a check that I pay to my customer, or let's say I collect from my customer, as soon as I have a check, I can encode the payments. I will have here in the list, just click on create, I will have in the list If it is a check or something else, so I will select one. I will confirm it in my system. But again, I will wait until I collect the actual money from my bank to say now it has arrived on my bank account, and then I will do the clearing of it. Now, a delayed check, I'm not sure what it means. Maybe it means a check that you received, you didn't receive the money in due time, but all of this will be encoded when you do the bank reconciliation. It can be delayed, it can be in due time, but as soon as you have the proof of it, then you can encode a transaction on your bank statement.
Okay, thank you. We are trying to get through this as quickly as possible, but we are running out of time and there's a lot more questions left.
Yeah, sure.
So what I can suggest is we'll take the last couple of questions, and unfortunately for the rest of you we couldn't get to, I'm really, really sorry, but we were quite limited by time. So you can maybe send an email to you perhaps, or we can send it to the general link.
Sure. The best way to do is to either book a meeting if you have a project to start using Odoo. If you are still simply trying out, we recommend you to go on odoo.com/trial. You can create a free account, fully free, in which you'll have all of the Odoo features. The only thing is that after 2 weeks, it will expire.
Yeah.
So you are free to test it, no worries.
There we go. You can also send the questions to me at webinars@odoo.com, and I can try to get the responses from either Patrick or my other colleagues and get back to you as soon as possible. All right. Okay, last couple of questions. So again, this is for trying to get through down to the list so we don't miss. Yeah. I think also I lost track of where we were. Yeah, okay. Oh, wow, we do have a lot of questions left. Okay, we have Mohammed, who is accountant for a company, and the administrator who created the account wasn't fully aware of the process, and he wants to reset the whole settings in Odoo accounting. Is that possible?
That's not possible for obvious reasons. In accounting, sometimes, if not all the time, it's not legal to completely erase something that you validated. So Odoo complies with the legal requirements. You can't simply delete everything and start from scratch. If you want to do that, the easiest way is to create another account on Odoo Online or on a downloaded version, and to start in good conditions.
Yeah, so like start from scratch.
Absolutely. I see another good question here about Andreas Lalos. Can general expenses such as the internet, electricity, gas be registered except vendor invoices for goods? Absolutely. For example, you can register all of them. Sorry, this is the list of attendees today. You can register. You can register expenses with, let's say, a miscellaneous entry like this. Or again, what can happen is, for example, you receive miscellaneous transactions like just an entry on your bank statement for the bank fees. In which case, you can go to the bank, let's say here. You will see the line with the transactions, and you can go and select what should be where are you? I have so many things here. And you can go and say, this is the counterpart. So yes, you can do a miscellaneous transaction manually, or you can simply get a notice on your bank statements and then reconcile it with whichever account you want without having a prior invoice in your system.
Okay, I think that will have to be the last question because we have 1 minute left, and we need to do our social media plugins, of course, because this is a marketing webinar. So thank you so much for attending, everyone, and thank you for your enthusiastic questions. Very interesting. If you would like to, please, if we didn't get to you, again, we're very sorry. Please send us a mail at webinars@odoo.com. I'm writing the address right here, so you have it. That comes to me, and I can get the responses and answer back to you. We also have a couple of questions about the other webinars. We do one webinar a week, but in different languages. So we have one coming up in Dutch. So if you speak Dutch, we'll be in accounting for Dutch. We also have our other teams doing webinars as well. So you can subscribe to our channel to get updates about who is doing what at what time. Usually for to cover all of our applications in the new versions, the old ones. If you have a request for a specific topic, you can also again send it to webinars@odoo.com. And we'll try to fit you in.
One last note,
yes.
The next steps, again, if you want to try Odoo for free, you can go on odoo.com/trial. If you want to schedule a demo because you have a project that you want to explore with us to see the feasibility, if there is a fit between what you are looking for and what we can offer, you can simply book a meeting on our website. You can go to odoo.com/r/meeting.be. You can also look for partners in your country to book a meeting with them. If you are far away, if you want someone to come into your office, we can have a partner probably in your country. And last thing, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to share it again on your social networks.
Also, thank you. Share it on the social network, give us a like, put a comment. If you have questions, you can ask them in the comments as well, and we'll try to get to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Patrick, for this amazing presentation. I think we have a lot of great comments thanking you, so that's great. And also, if they were comments, it's also a very good presentation. So thank you for taking the time to be here today, and we'll see you guys next time.
Many thanks, Chetali.
Bye.